the different patterns.
Yeah. I sewed this one with a thinner wire, so it's a little bit lighter and hangs a bit more fabricy.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see. It's like a little bit more tightly knit.
All right, guys. So we are live. Can you hear me now? Is there a delay? There was a bit of an echo. Well, welcome. My name is Tara Deport, and oops, I'm here. One second. I'm hearing myself. There we go. I had the YouTube live was playing in my ear at the same time I was talking, so that was a little complicated. We'll start again. Hi all, I'm Tara Deport. I'm the founder and executive director of HII. I think everyone live with us on the call knows us, and this is Zoe Deport, co-founder of HII, post birth. And I'm really excited to be here today to celebrate our 2024 Creative Climate Awards with some of our participating artists. And for people who are watching along on YouTube or who will watch later, the Creative Climate Awards this year, our focus was solutions from the front lines, which I think our whole crew was really proud of having that as a theme, with the idea of centering solutions that are coming from the communities that are most impacted by climate. And for this year, we had over 500 submissions from artists from around the world. And we ended up selecting a little over 50 artists. And please stop that, Zoe. Excuse me. One moment. I'm going to have a child. Excuse me. The wonders of Zoom. Um, and for those of you who are on the edge of your seat, no, Zoe will not be watching a movie right now. But coming back to the Creative Climate Awards, we ended up having over 50 artists, including 9 teams of our Artivism and Amplifiers Fellows, which are, we have Coco here today, who's one of our fellows. Those are young people from around the world that are leading on climate and art issues, and they work together to create these beautiful projects, partnering between Global North and Global South communities for the show. And we also have Julianne, Daniel, Raquel, and Emma, who are all participants in this year's Creative Climate Awards. And really happy and proud of our crew and our program coordinator, Alvaro Valencia, and our community coordinator, Jolly Patel, who just made it all happen this year. So thanks to all of you. As some of the people who have seen CCA over the years, many people commented on how they thought this was the most inspiring year yet. And so congratulations to all participating artists. Just before we get into more of artists being able to share a little bit about their work, where the Creative Climate Awards came from was kind of, excuse me. So where, where the Creative Climate Awards came from was much like today. It was a very personal story. And it was, I am an artist and also have a background in climate science and policy. And a couple of years into the Human Impacts Institute, I called a few friends in New York. I was based in New York City at the time, and I'm in a New Yorker, and said, hey, do you want to do performance art about climate around the city? And I'll film you and film New Yorkers' reactions to it. And all of them said yes, enthusiastically. And that's what birthed the Creative Climate Awards. Just based on this idea that the creatives and the creators in our community, the culture bearers, the culture holders, are not only our expert storytellers, but they're also the ones that help us build community and build connections with one another and also help us dream of what's possible. And that's something we talked about at the CCA opening. And I think all of you do that in your work. So thank you for that. I want to get into the fun stuff, and I want to see if any of the artists present today want to share a little bit about who they are, where they are, and what you had in our Creative Climate Awards this year. Does anyone want to join first and to share? Emma, I see you. You want to get it over with?
Okay, yes, exactly. Thanks, Tara, and everybody. This has been such a fun event. I'm in Elmhurst, Queens right now. That's where I live. Getting ready to head into work shortly, but this is just such a unique experience. I mean, I'm a choreographer and I'm a visual artist, and these bottle cap tapestries have been this weird side project that started out as an Etsy store during the recession and turned into a whole other side career. But this was the first time I really felt like it was both seen as art and as activism. So it kind of has pushed it to another level and made me better about talking about it and talking to other people. And it was really, really great going to all the talks and just seeing the same people, every week too. Like really felt like a community. Like it was lucky to be in New York and able to go to the events. And I wish I could meet all the international people that were in it. But yeah, that's about it. But thank you so much. This has been fun.
Thank you, Emma. And if you haven't seen it, there's an example of Emma's bottle cap tapestries hanging behind you there. And Emma's piece was the one that was behind many of our talks, the backdrop that says resist, which I think is a very poignant and strong message in just one word. So thank you for that. I'd love to come to, I know Raquel can't talk, but I'd love to come over since you mentioned art and activism, which was the whole goal of our fellowship. And I want to invite, if there are any of our fellows who are on the call, if you want to share a little bit about who you are, where you're coming from, and what you created with your team for the Creative Climate Awards. Any of the fellows want to share?
I can, I guess.
Coco?
Yeah.
Great, thank you.
So I'm Coco. I'm from the UK originally, but I'm based in Mexico and the land of the Chichimecas. I was put in a group with a group of girls from Rwanda, New York, originally from Nigeria, and Bolivia. And we collaborated together to create a poetry piece with 4 parts that was called Voices of Resilience. And we came from the perspectives of the voice of nature, the voice of youth, the voice of mother, and the voice of elder. And yeah, it was a really interesting process. We learned a lot about Huara's indigenous Aymara community in Bolivia. It was really beautiful. Yeah, just kind of understanding their way of life, how they see the world and everything. Yeah, mixing all our perspectives together and like throwing ideas out and creating the piece together. Yeah, really enjoyed it, and the fellowship has been amazing. It's been such an opportunity to like learn about so many different types of things relating to activism and amplifying the message and creative climate communications. Yeah, really enjoyed it and just wish that I could have come to New York to see all the amazing pieces, but hopefully in the years to come.
Yeah, we wish we could have had all of you in New York as well. It was amazing that there were quite a few of the artists there, but I mean, including 2 of our fellows were able to come to the opening. But yeah, that's in our heads for the future of fundraising, of how it's wonderful with technology that we can all be together through Zoom, and that we were able to do a fellowship together in 3 languages for many months and work across cultures, but being in person is so rich and so wonderful. So thank you for sharing, Coco. And I want to pass it to another CCA artist. Is anyone wanting to talk? Daniel, would you like to share a little bit about what you had in the show? If you're able to unmute, Daniel.
Yeah,
Oh, there we
Carl,
go.
can you hear me?
We got you. Yes.
Okay, yes, I'm in Brooklyn, close by on the F train. Yes, it was quite the experience to see the body of work and that the artist as the front line of change. I do believe it's the artist that will wake people up. I'm not an advocate of depending on the government. This is a grassroots issue that's global. And I think that the fossil fuel industry depends on people being reckless in their consumption. And so for me, you've all heard about the corporations and having extended responsibility. For me, it's more about the consumer having extended responsibility. For me, it's about individuals' personal choices and changing behavior. And changing human behavior is never easy. And so I can't depend on corporations doing it because they're not in it for the change, they're in it for the profit. But people can do this, every one of us. And so I try to limit my consumption on all levels to the point where I've given up my car. And my car sits in a parking lot. I haven't touched my car in a year. So it's kind of horrible, but it feels good at the same time because I'm not contributing to the fossil fuel industry that on that level. The insurance, the repairs, the insanity around a car. Yes, it's convenient. I depend on my bicycle and my feet hurt quite a bit now. And so that's the price to pay because the other price is way bigger. And we know this is not a hoax. We know it's real. We're seeing it literally everywhere in the world, from Brazil to the Middle East, everywhere. So it's real. And as an artist, I feel I have an obligation to be doing what I do. I've been doing this with plastics for over 28 years. It started in Biarritz, France, on the ocean. I used to live in France at the time. And at that time, I would sit with my son, who was 3. Now he's 30. And the last time I was back in France, it was in 2014 and 15. And when I started this, the trash in Biarritz on the Grand Plage was up to my ankle. And when I went back in 2014, after a storm, it was up to my knee. And that was mind-boggling. That change was pretty significant in a very short amount of time. And that the pattern of trash that was coming onto beaches was all the way from Bordeaux down to Saint Sebastian. Because that's where I used to collect most of my trash, from Mimizan down to Saint Sebastian. And it was always the same trash. It was insane. And so I noticed a massive, massive increase in a very short amount of time. And that was very concerning.
Yeah. And we see that issue. I mean, every time I go for a walk, no matter where, with our daughter, we point out the waste that is in the waterways, and it's inevitably plastic. And Daniel, I know we could talk about that, and we could have a whole other many hours of conversation around that. But thank you. And Daniel's piece on the show is a gorgeous mask that is made from all of these collected plastic pieces. And because you mentioned France, Daniel, and your experience in France, I think he's laughing, he's smiling, maybe because he knows it's coming to him. But Sabri, do you want to share in English or French some of your
Si
experience?
c'est possible en français, c'est une interprète, sinon je peux essayer de parler en anglais.
C'est comme tu veux. Ouais, vas-y en français et on verra.
Ok. Donc, nous, pour rejoindre ce qu'a dit Daniel, on est des jeunes Marseillais avec Fakradine et Tarek. et nous avons voulu montrer un peu les effets positifs de l'écologie, de la transition énergétique dans une ville qui est, on va dire, très hétéroclite. Marseille, ça peut être magnifique comme très désagréable pour les personnes qui y vont. Et nous, d'où le nom de Kingdom, ben on s'est dit, ben c'est notre royaume, quoi, c'est notre univers, Marseille. L'écologie, ça passe par notre ville. Et notre ville, c'est l'exemple même de ce qui se passe dans le monde. Il y a beaucoup d'inégalités, des personnes qui ont du mal à vivre, à joindre les deux bouts. Et l'écologie, c'est pas la première chose qu'ils pensent, les pauvres. Ils pensent à manger, à dormir, à subvenir à leurs besoins. Alors qu'il y a d'autres personnes que, ayant toutes ces facilités, Dieu merci, peuvent envisager l'écologie. Et avec cette option-là qui arrive avec les JO qui vont se dérouler à Paris et à Marseille, je pense que on a voulu montrer les beaux côtés de Marseille et les mauvais. Et il a raison, Daniel, quand il parle des plages et de la pollution qui s'engrange, parce qu'il faut savoir que la France est le premier pollueur de la Méditerranée. Et, euh, et que la Méditerranée est l'une des eaux les plus polluées du monde. À partir de là, ben, c'est à nous de faire des efforts. Voilà.
So I'm not going to translate all of that, Sabri, but I will try to make. Je vais essayer de faire un petit synopsis
Ok, ok.
de tout ce que tu as dit. Sinon, tu veux essayer en anglais de faire un
Yes, yes,
Oui,
maybe.
vas-y,
Okay,
vas-y.
okay. So, I'm from Marseille, in France, and I'm a young man of the south of France. So, we made a movie with my friends Tarek and Fakhreddin. And the movie speak of the inequality of Marseille. Like there is a lot of poor people who can't think about the ecology and the problematics because they had a rough life, and we wanted to show that in our movie. We show the good things of Marseille and the bad things. Like Daniel said, the beach are very dirty, and we must know France are the first what can we say, pollueur of the Sea of Mediterranean. So with what can I say? With the beginning of the JO, the Olympic game, Marseille is the place to be in Europe, and we wanted to show the human who live in this city. Sorry for my bad English, but I tried.
It was amazing. It was amazing. And I think you touched on all the important points. And I think, if you haven't seen their short film yet, it really shows, I think that one of the biggest messages for me that they come out of it is that we need the same energy and passion that there is for instance, for the local soccer team, the football team, for the environment and for the ecology. And that comes from us. And that, I think that demand and that call that we need that oh my God, we can do it, energy, which also I think young people are really, I think we're seeing that with the courage of young people around the world to stand up for what's right and for what's wrong. I find it very inspiring and pushing me. Thank you for sharing, Sabri, en anglais et français, tous les deux. And I'm wondering if we can go to, I know they're off camera, but Celio, would you mind sharing about your project? Because you also made a film with your group, but you talked with locals in two communities that are very far from each other. Are you with us, Celio?
Hey, everybody. I'm so sorry for not being on camera today. My name is Celio. I'm from Mozambique, and I was in a group with Bea from London, Laura from Canada, and Sophia from Colombia. And we did a short film, a video poetry film, where we interviewed two women from frontline communities. We wanted to showcase the effects of climate change on frontline communities and how these communities are trying to adapt themselves to climate change and helping themselves to survive to climate change. And we did this interview. We didn't plan for the interviewers to be women, but they end up to be women, which is amazing because we can see that climate change affects women in a harder way. And when we're talking about women in frontline communities, is it's even worse. For example, Regina, which is the small food producer here in Mozambique that I interviewed, she has like a land where she produces food, and this year there was basically no rain, so she doesn't have food, and she has a lot of children, and she needs this to work out. So it was really cool to see how climate change affects these people. We wanted to showcase that actions that are taken in the other side of the world have consequences to people. And it was really cool working with everyone from the team. They were amazing. And this whole experience was amazing. And the whole fellowship has so many talented people. So I learned a lot. And thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you, Celio, and thank you for sharing. And it is so powerful, the two women you did speak to, to something that's so important to us at the Human Impacts Institute is that we're not telling other people's stories. We're helping them share their own stories. And I think your team, well, all of the teams and all of the artists did that beautifully, but the interviews and how you presented their stories is really beautiful, Celio. So congratulations on that. I want to see Tieng, are you with us? I see you're there, but are you available to maybe share a little bit about your piece?
Hi, hi Tara, hi everyone. Yeah, so my piece is called Data Wagashi, and it is about using a Japanese confection art called wagashi to physicalize data about the climate. So the idea is to make the climate data storytelling more accessible and fun and multisensory, because when we look at like data visualizations, it's kind of like a tool that people usually always use for telling climate stories and like trying to express how urgent it is or how critical it is. But it just brings about a lot of fatigue into the narrative because we see it all the time, and sometimes it's really hard to read into it and feel interesting. So with Wagashi, I'm trying to bring this like multisensory dimension into data communication by incorporating its qualities like taste, smell, texture, and the physical interactions with the dessert wagashi into the vocabulary of data communication. So one example is that there's a set that has like embedded coffee into it, and then that amount of coffee it's correlated to the carbon footprint in the data set. So the more bitter it is, the more the higher the carbon footprint that piece represent, then the more bitter that piece tastes. So like that's kind of the idea and concept behind this project. And yeah, very, very, very honored to be included in this exhibition, and also super glad that I get to be able to share this this work and this thinking with all of you. So thank you.
Thank you so much. And it has been really interesting over the years to see all the different submissions from around the world. And we have seen quite a few strong pieces that really
take this concept of making the invisible visible. So even taking air pollution, for instance, and putting that into an edible form, it totally changes our relationship with the pollution, where people are like, oh my God, of course I'm not going to eat that coal ash donut, or but then we say, but you're breathing it every single day, and that does this switch. So it was really beautiful to see not only do you create beautiful objects, in terms of food and art, but to see data visualized in this way of eating data is such a really interesting story too, and so memorable. And I only hope at one of our events we can actually eat the data together and make these, carbon data come to life. So thank you for that. I'm gonna move over to Julianne. Are you with us? Would love to hear a little bit more
I
about your.
am.
Hi.
Hi, sorry I'm not on camera. I'm on the Men from the Flu. Excuse me. I have two photographs in the Climate Creative Awards. One was of a cut down forest, and then another was of a receding glacier. The entire experience was really incredible to be a part of. I really loved the artists and activism chats, and the opening reception was like brought together such a beautiful group of people. And I don't know, I just love the community that it brought together. With one of the chats, I met a girl in the crowd who was there to get some inspiration for a poem she was writing. And then now her and I have been chatting a lot, and she sent me the poem. It's been wonderful. I have been loving this experience. So thank you very much to everyone involved.
Thank you, Julianne. And it was really wonderful to be a part of that conversation with you around, loss too, and how, how do we deal with the immense loss and the immensity of climate change? I was just listening to a podcast this morning about the idea of us not being ready for something that's already happened. And that's inspired by climate futurism and climate, where it's like, we're not ready for what's already happening, and this concept of that, and how do we come together around that and also not get just totally, immobilized, where we feel like we can't do anything. So thank you for being part of that conversation and using your art as a photographer to invite us into exploring loss. It's really powerful.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'm gonna come to see if another one of our fellows would like to share. Nyla, Rachel, or Helena, any of you like to share a bit more about what you had in the show?
I can share.
Wonderful.
Hello, everyone. My name is Helena, and I'm from London. And so yeah, that's where I was joining the program from. And I was part of a podcast group. So I was with Carlos, who's from Peru, and Dylan, who's from Venezuela. And I think it's one of the beautiful parts of this project and program is the fact that Carlos and Dylan speak Spanish, and I can't speak Spanish, unfortunately, but they were trying to teach me. I've gotten better. But the fact that we were able to communicate, because Dylan's bilingual, and really be able to engage with people that language would have been a barrier for me before, was really fun, and has also really spurred me to want to learn more languages, even though I'm really bad at it. But we were in a podcast group together, and what we did was create a series of short podcast episodes on different topics surrounding climate change. So we did climate and education, climate and cities, and then climate and justice. And in these podcasts, we essentially tried to bring in our own different perspectives from our lived experience, but also just from our education or things that we know to describe the intersectionality within these topics, new ways to think about these topics, and new ways to engage with what science is deemed as valid, what cultural aspects can we add to our discussions of climate change to sort of dismantle Eurocentrism within it, and also how can we like how do you think about the different concerns that like different countries across the globe would have like concerning climate change? Because it's not one size fits all. And again, sort of alluding to what Tara was saying, in the short amount of time that we actually have, because it's already happening. And I think it was really, really fun because, for example, Carlos works directly with Indigenous communities. And so to have his like firsthand account of how he's tackling climate change and how he's engaging with Indigenous communities, and that kind of knowledge paired with the amazing guests that we were able to meet who were also Indigenous. And I remember one of them, I forgot his name, but he made films with Netflix, sort of dissecting like Indigenous culture and how like he plans to promote issues about climate change in Indigenous communities. So that was really fun to be able to pair the knowledge from like the sessions and then our own experiences and then try and like add it into like the podcast episodes. So yeah, that's what we did. And it was really fun. I wish we could have been able to film the podcast in person because like the different time zones and stuff, it was a little bit difficult, but that's kind of impossible. But we were even talking about trying to like continue it afterwards because we had such a good time doing it. And yes, I just want to take this opportunity to thank everybody on the program and everybody that I met. You're all really great. So yeah, that's it.
Thank you, Helena. And if you haven't heard yet, we are talking about how we can support you in continuing. So we have to get that on the calendar. And the 3 episodes you created are so powerful. And the 3 of you have so much to say and such a really interesting analysis of what is and what could be as well. So it's really a joy. And it was also for me the first bilingual podcast I've ever listened to. So I really appreciated that culturally. And it pushed me to understand stuff in Spanish as well. So thank you for that. Thank you very much. Well, speaking of Spanish, I would love to come to Carla. Are you professor, or should I call you Profesora Flores? Are you available to share a bit?
Well, at this time, I'm exactly being that, a profesora, so I cannot go. I cannot go the way I would like to go, but I would like to participate, at least saying that I'm so happy and so grateful for all the opportunities that you gave to all the artists, because it's a way to show how we can work, especially with the students and with the community, promoting the care of the environment, promoting the care of the ecosystem, and worms are actually, as you can see, and then.
Well, I have 6-year-olds interrupting me, and I think Profesora has maybe teens interrupting her right now. So whenever you can come back to us, we'd love to hear.
Yeah, I'll be back in a few minutes.
No problem.
Thank you.
No problem.
Gracias.
Gracias. Well, I want to see while we're waiting. I know, let's see who hasn't had a chance. I know Raquel can't join us with audio, but Naila or Rachel, do you want to say anything about your projects? Go ahead.
I currently, or Rachel?
Go ahead, Naila. You've started. Go ahead.
I currently cannot turn on my camera, but I can share a little bit of our project. So I was working in the fellowship in the group of design with Rachel from US, with oh my God, Juliana from Colombia, and Carmen from Guatemala. So yeah, it has been a wonderful experience to get to know them, but as well to get to know more about their interests. Because this is something interesting about our project, that we work a lot on how to put together our interests, our work, because we are different kind of artists in regards to design. For example, Carmen and Rachel make something similar to sculptures and objects. Carmen made some photography and I made some paintings. So yeah, it was interesting to see the different techniques and how these different techniques as well complemented each other in the final narrative that we wanted to portray. So basically our final group project was a four piece piece in which you can see from the start how natural resources affect its communities, and then how this ends up in as pollution, as waste in our environment, and how it can be returned, how it can be reused and returned into the cycle. So basically, that was what we wanted to portray. But yeah, I was also able to be present during the inauguration of the Climate Earth Week. So it was really fantastic as well to get to know the selected artists that were not part of the fellowship as well. So much learning, so much fun. I got so much fun with dancing the worm. Yes. But yeah, I really got some beautiful experience from this. Um, I get to know my fellow mates and learned a lot from the fellowship. I'm an artist, so I have to reinforce my other way of getting to know more about climate change issues. So yeah, it has been very enriching, and I'm really grateful for this opportunity. So yeah.
Mm. Thank you, Naila, and thank you for sharing. We were so excited that you were able to join us in New York and to do the green worm with us of Carla and her team. Before we go on to just some highlights of the different events too from Jolly, Rachel, did you want to share a little bit about your project as well and where you're coming from? I'm not sure if Rachel is able to connect, but I'll just give her a second. Otherwise, we'll come back to you, Rachel, if you are able to connect. Jolly, pass it over to our community coordinator, Jolly Patel, who is based in New York City. Tell us a little bit more. We had so much happening in the gallery this year, which was so exciting to see. Can you share with us some of your personal highlights?
Yeah, definitely. I think, it's been an incredible month just getting to know each of you and being able to see some of you in person and really connecting with your pieces. I think I've had, so many great conversations from individuals that stop in and the conversations that come out of, like the works and how people reacted to it. I think some of my highlights were definitely one of the biggest with the opening celebration. I think just having everybody in the room at the same time and being able to like appreciate, something that's been in the works for so long and then kind of seeing it come to life was really incredible. And the art and action chats, I've seen many faces here like consistently. So thank you for those that were able to join us in person in the neighborhood. And those were really engaging. I felt like, Emma, Emma and Julianne, you were part of the conversations and seeing how, people that were coming from the outside who sort of were either stumbling upon what was happening or were already climate activists and how they were engaging with those talks was really nice. Yesterday we had a conversation and someone was just moved. She works in like consulting and understands greenwashing problems, but she's like, I never thought about it through the lens of art. So it just like blew her mind that, art can actually convey this message stronger than maybe data and all these other forms that sometimes people think only is the only format to do it. So she loved the combination of art into that messaging. So I think yeah, I feel like those were some of my biggest highlights. And of course, if you were here for the last 3 days, I felt like we just had back-to-back events with where we incorporated music to open mics, poetry slams. There was people doing spoken words on whether it was climate, and we helped raise funding for like local community gardens. That was really incredible. And it amplified their voices because, it was also for the local artists, but also for a great cause for the community. And I think the fact that Human Impacts Institute can kind of be this hub where all these different voices can come together is really special. And I'm excited to kind of keep collaborating and building these relationships and seeing what else can come out of it. I think it's never like a one and done. There's a consistent, evolution to the relationship, and I'm really excited to see how we can all work together again in the future.
I would definitely echo that. And thank you, Jelly, for all of your hard work in making it happen as well, and in help taking down the show as well, which is a big part of it. Which, I do want to say for all of the artists here and also for those listening, otherwise, we are going to follow up with you to hear other ideas of how we can support you and help continue to build this community. Not only with the artists who participated this year, but with the hundreds of artists now we've worked with from around the world over, I think the 13 years of the Creative Climate Awards. So we have such an amazing breadth of types of art and creative means of different cultures, of different approaches to climate change. Even here we have talking about waste, talking about data visualization, talking about indigeneity and solutions from ancient cultures. We have so many things in climate justice, etc., just in the group that's here on this call. So I think there's so much more we could do to support you in your impact as artists. So we'd love to we of course have ideas, but we'd love to hear from you as well. So we will follow up with everyone on that. Before I get to like the moment that some of you all have been waiting for, of seeing who won our awards this year. I do want to just send out a few thank yous. For one, to Two Trees, who donated the space we had this year at 38 Washington Street. I think for any of us who've been there, we can agree that it's really been an amazing space, warm and inviting, and a place that really feels like you can come together and build that community that Jolly was talking about. The Ford Foundation and New York City Department of Cultural Affairs that funded both the fellowship and also this year's Creative Climate Awards. And for all listening, we are able to, thanks to the New York City Department of Cultural Affairs and Ford, pay all participating artists and fellows for their participation. It's not a lot, but it's something. So to hopefully at least cover some cost that it takes to show your works. Also to TECO, who is providing the $2,000 in prize money that we're awarding in a couple minutes. That goes to the first, second, and third place winner that was decided by our judges, which Alvaro will talk a little bit more about in a moment. I know the ambassador of TECO will have a message to share with us that we'll send out shortly as well, a video to thank all of you and to really thank us for this partnership. And then just Patagonia and the Dumbo Bid. Dumbo Bids also sponsored us projecting on the Manhattan Bridge, projecting all of your works on the Manhattan Bridge, which I think if you got to experience that, at least for me, it's very powerful to see, scale matters. And also to have climate demands and to have your work on such a big scale in such an iconic place. I think that's a testament to what you're doing and a testament to the importance of culture in really engaging on that. So thank you. And just congratulations. I'm so inspired by all of you. I'm going to be painting in your honor this week. With all the inspiration I got from the show. And Alvaro, I'm going to send it over to you to announce our Audience Choice Award and how many amazing numbers of votes we had over the past 5 days and the choices of our judges for the Creative Climate Awards. Over to you, Alvaro.
Thank you, Tara, and thank you everyone for joining us tonight. Tonight somewhere. The Creative Climate Awards 2024. This event is a celebration, definitely, of the extraordinary talent and creativity of all the artists that are here and all the artists that couldn't be in this Zoom call but participated and even applied to this year's awards. We are really honored to have had such an incredible amount of artists and entries this year. And well, it is time to announce our winners. Drum roll. First, let's start with our People's Choice Award. This award is very special because it is chosen by you, our audience. The artwork that captured the hearts of 180 persons out of 700 persons that voted was The Green Inchworm by Carla Flores. So congratulations, Carla, on this wonderful acknowledgement from the public. Yes. So congratulations, Carla, la profesora. There you are. Congratulations. Great. Over 600 persons voted, almost 700 persons voted, and Carla definitely stole the hearts of the public. So congratulations, Carla, for the People's Choice Award.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for supporting. Thank you for dancing with us in the opening ceremony, where we showcased also the dress that was made by Carla for the Green Inchworm project, and it is a really pedagogical project and very, very interesting. So thank you so much for participating, and completely deserved. Thank you. Well, now we're moving on to the three awards, first, second, and third place. And this was selected by our jury. Our jury was formed by Janet Wong, Giovanni Rusanello, and Federico Villa. Janet Wong is an accomplished ballet dancer, an artistic director, and definitely brings a broad experience to the panel. Giovanni Rusanello is a journalist in the New York Times, and he brings a lot of his keen eye for detail to ensure a thoughtful evaluation for our submissions. And our third judge from our panel is Federico Villa, design lead at Google. Federico is a designer, a professor. His work has spanned everything: hardware, software, and social impact projects across the United States, India, and Africa. And he currently leads design for Gemini AI at Google. So thank you for our panel of judges who took the hard work of selecting after a very, very tight jury selection. We have the awards nominations. So moving on to the third place, the artist that has used mixed media to create a piece that beautifully merges data, and artistic expression. So this third place winner for CCA 2024, receiving a prize of $400 is Tiang Wang for Data Wagashi. So congratulations, Tiang.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
To receive the prize, and yeah, such being a wonderful opportunity to participate in showing this work. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for showing us also the bitterness of what's behind our consumption. So thank you so much. And congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, in second place, we have a powerful sculpture that speaks volumes about the theme of denial and our environment. And the artist behind this very thought-provoking piece and winning $600 is Daniel Lancilota for The Mask, Denial Behind the Mask. So well done, Daniel. Thank you so much and congratulations. Is Daniel here? Yeah, here you go. Congratulations, Daniel. Completely deserved. Amazing piece. And thank you so much. Afterwards, we can maybe Tara, if you
Hello.
have some time. There you go, Daniel.
Yes, thank you so much.
Congratulations.
I appreciate that. It's nice to be recognized, and especially in my hometown. We got work to do.
That's right.
We got work to do. That's us, the artists. We'll lead the way.
Thank you so much, Daniel.
We
That's
always
right.
do. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Tara.
And now the moment we've all been waiting for, the first place winner for the Creative Climate Awards 2024. This artist has created a really interesting piece that combines oil and canvas and wood, metal, and plastics. She has weaved a compelling narrative about our connection to nature and the environment. And the winning of the grand prize of $1,000. Our first place goes to Raquel Fornázaro for Tamar and Tether. So congratulations, Raquel. I know you are right now teaching. Maybe you're hearing this and getting excited, but maybe can't participate. But congratulations.
Oh my God, thank you so much. Yeah, so since we're showing classrooms, thank you. This is wonderful. The show was amazing. I was in awe with all the quality of work, and I look forward to seeing more of that and hopefully being able to participate in future endeavors. Thank you
so much, Raquel, for participating and for your amazing piece, and for all the artists that year was really, really tight. Juries were really like having a hard time finding who was better than who. It's not about who's better than who. It's more about like what was connecting with the audiences and the topic at hand. And thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here, for your continued commitment to Human Impact Institute, and of course for your commitment with the environment and for climate change. So yeah, let's continue to be inspired and to inspire others through the power of art. Daniel is right. The work that you do is completely amazing, and it is through art and artists that behavior can change and cultural revolution can happen. So thank you so much for being here, for participating, and back to you, Tara.
Thank you, Alvaro, and I just will echo all of that. Congratulations to those selected by the audience and by the judges, and I will echo what Carla said, is that I really do think that we all win as an audience to be able to experience your art and to be able to experience it all together, along with, you know, such thought-provoking and important conversations and performances that really do help us dream and inspire us to take action beyond the grief, beyond the anger, beyond all the emotions that I think many of us feel. So thank you for that. And thank you for helping, you know, make a little seed of an idea just really grow and blossom into, I think, a thriving community. I only see us being needed more and being able to do more. So thank you. And we really look forward to being in touch. As Jolly said, you know, this isn't a one-stop thing. We're in it for the long haul. So thanks for coming along with us, and congratulations to everyone for CCA 2024. Yay! Have a wonderful day, everyone. It's so good to be together. We'll talk soon.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure to meet everybody and dance with everybody. Bye-bye.
Yes.
Gracias,
Many more
profe.
dances. Bye, all.
Bye.